In this video, I'd like to show you a technique I've started to use to add music to my microbit coding projects. I'm using Makecode, and while music isn't new, this strategy uses an array rather than the note blocks that we normally find under the music. This is less common, but a super easy technique, and I find it much quicker. An array is another word for database. It's a place to store multiple pieces of data of the same type. Arrays can have the benefit of saving space in the code, but in this application it's more about being able to quickly enter music information. First we decode the music, that is, take it from its written form into a format the microbit can utilize, and we enter that information into an array. Transfer that code to the microbit and we'll sit back and enjoy the music we've created. For this example, it's purely about the music, but I like to use this to enter various tunes as feedback or alarms for the various coding projects that I do. The note on the music staff corresponds to the keys on a keyboard. If we're using the music blocks in Makecode, they give us 3 octaves. The strategy we're using will actually give us 8 octaves to work with. We need to determine the notes in the music that we're using. Each note has a note value, also called beats. For this piece of music, our example has a quarter note as the shortest note played, so we will assign it 1 beat as its value. Let's use Mary Had a Little Lamb as a quick example. The first note is an E. This is located on the 2nd octave of the keyboard we're using. We code this as E2, meaning E in the 2nd octave. And the number of beats after the colon, because this is a quarter note, will be 1. The next note is a D, also in the 2nd octave, so coded D2. It's also a quarter note, so after the colon, we have a 1. Here's the whole piece decoded. Now to create the code in Makecode. I'll start off by making a new project in Makecode. Into the on start, I'll want to put a set tempo. This piece of music was written with a tempo of 120 beats per minute. I can change that later if I want the piece to speed up or slow down based on what I'm using it for. Within the forever loop, I put in a show string, and I'm going to change this to say Mary because that's the title of the song, and I'll know that that's the piece that's been put onto the microbit. I'll select an on button A pressed, and into that I'll take 1 block from music, start melody. If I use my advanced blocks, scroll down to arrays, I'll find one that's called Set Text List. I'm going to drag that down to the working area. I'll take the part that just says array of ABC. I'm going to drop that in place of where the melody was, and that will eject the melody. And now I'll start coding the pieces of information that we took from the sheet music. My first note was E in the 2nd octave for 1 beat. Then D in the 2nd octave for 1 beat. C in the 2nd octave for a beat. And now for every additional note that I need to put in, I'll just have to push the plus here to get some additional spaces. Once I've got that all coded in, it's time to download it to my microbit and sit back and listen to the music. If I'm using a version 1 microbit, I'll need to either connect some headphones to it or maybe a piezo speaker. Maybe I've got some amplified speaker system that I could connect to it. If I'm using a version 2 microbit, it's got the built-in speaker, so I can just code and go.